with Uganda. Kampala receives $400 million in annual aid from Washington. Kenyan Christians have equally supported the Ugandan gay law and called for its enactment in Kenya. As the witch hunt begins for homosexuals in Uganda, tension remains high in neighboring Kenya. One thing is for sure, that it's going to be a while before the West and African nations ever agree upon this topic. In the meantime, as the Ugandan president articulated, this topic remains a no-go zone area. Alifia Nurani, Press TV, Nairobi, Kenya.
It's only until recently that gays and lesbians in Kenya came out of their closet to press for recognition and their rights. They appear emboldened after 48-year-old Binyavanga Wainaina went public about his sexuality and his decision to champion the rights of gay people in Africa. However, the decision by Uganda's president to sign into law a bill toughening penalties for gay people and criminalizing those who don't report them has got Kenyans talking.
When God brought about human beings to this world, he brought Adam. When Adam asked God for somebody to be his company, he took his rib. God gave him Eve, he don't give him Steve.
Honestly, I don't mind them because they don't affect me in any way. But I don't support it at the same time because I don't understand how you don't like the opposite sex, because it's supposed to come naturally.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 27 says God created man, male and female. If gays were to be, or if man and man were to be in companionship, then God would have created two men.
The men of the cloth have also condemned the gay rights movement, saying it was inconsistent with Africans' cultural and religious inclination.
Mambo haya watu wana practice wanapoanza kuishi. Ni watu ambao wamejiinvolve katika mambo haya walipoanza kuishi. Si mambo ya kwamba mtu amezaliwa amekuwa na tabia hii, amekuwa na tabia hii. Si mambo ya kweli. Si research ya kweli. Hamna.
But Pastor Samuel Njiriri faulted his colleagues for embracing liberal teachings for fear of upsetting the status quo.
You may see some preachers, they don't preach this in their churches because they want more members to flock in their churches. So we are compromising, and compromisers always pay a terrible price.
Religious leaders have voiced their displeasure at the West for threatening to cut aid to African nations if anti-gay laws are not scrapped.
Tuatishwa kwamba jambo hili ikiwa hatukulikubali tutanyimwa mpaka misaada. To hell with that misaada. Kwa sababu leo watu hivi sasa hivi pamoja na dunia kwamba imechafuka na gharama na nini, watoto wa kiume wengi hawana kazi. Unakwenda waambia wawe mashoga. Pamoja na shida iliyoko, kisha unakwenda kuwahimiza wawe mashoga. Nini umeipangia hii dunia?
MPs are mulling legislation similar to the one signed by Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni Monday that proposes tougher fines and stiffer penalties on anyone found guilty of engaging or associating with gays and lesbians. Richard Kagoe, K24 Evening Edition.
Muslim leaders of the coast have responded with anger to utterances by Special Programs Minister Esther Mirugi concerning homosexuality. Addressing a national symposium on HIV and AIDS at the coast, Mirugi came out in full support of homosexuals, saying their rights must be respected. But a section of Muslim leaders have come out strongly, saying the utterances by the minister were misguided.
Hii ni mipangilio ya kutubadilisha sisi kuwa kama wanyama. Wanaume kwa wanaume waingiliane, wanawake kwa wanawake waingiliane, wala sio suluhisho la ukimwi.
The minister is also under fire from other politicians who criticize her for prioritizing what they termed as a less important issue.
Na juzi ameteua mbunge wenu kusimamia mambo ya IDP. Na badala aende awapatie mashamba, ati nimeona jana akiunga mashoga Mombasa mkono. Mashoga.
A section of the public have also condemned homosexuality, saying it's contrary to the provisions of the new constitution.
Sababu hata kwa kanisa Mungu alikataa hiyo maneno na akaumba mwanaume na akaumba mwanamke. Kwa hivyo jambo la vijana kwenda na vijana katika Biblia imekataa kabisa. Na hata katika Kiafrika hiyo ni mambo imekataliwa kabisa.
Mimi sioni kama wanaume kwa wanaume ni sawa, sababu kama ni mwanaume si atafute tu mwanamke, na wanawake wako wengi.
Mashoga hawana haki ya kupewa haki zao, hawana haki yoyote.
Kwa upande wa kina madada, sasa tutakuwa kama sisi hivi hapa Kenya, madada hatuna wanaume, kwa sababu mwanaume akiwa mwanaume mwenzake na sisi tutapata nafasi wapi?
Wote wako mahali pao special, yani wakae mahali pao huko, ondoke karibu na watu ambao watu wanakama na mabibi zao. Unakuta mwanaume hata amevaa kama kike anaenda klabu mwanamume mzima.
We caught up with some of those involved in the practice, and according to them, they deserve equal treatment as other Kenyans.
Serikali tema anani chukua uhuru, chukue free. Kama polisi watunyanyasi, raia ndo wanatunyanyasa. Kuchudhulumu na kuchupiga na kuchukulia pesa usiku.
Hata kama hiyo waziri hakusema, mimi siwezi hide my feelings.
They say they must be accepted as they are. And as regards the spread of HIV and AIDS, which is now believed to be common among homosexuals,
Ukimu ni accident, kinipata bahati mbaya sawa, nitaugua na nitapona, nitatumia dawa.
Homosexuality was a key issue raised during campaigns for the new constitution, as opponents and proponents used it as a campaigning tool to favor their side. Harith Salim, NTV.
It all began with his tenure as the overseer of the Presbyterian Church of Kenya in 2003, and for the better part of the 6 years as the moderator of the PCA Church, David Muhyagithi took issue with ungodly practices which he claimed were taking place within the confines of the church, namely homosexuality and devil worship.
But the truth of the matter is, this thing surfaced back in 1990s. And there was a lot of rumors that there are some devil worshippers in the PCA church. But it all climaxed in the year 2001 when we had gone as a fraternal of the whole church, of the ministers, and we went to Mombasa. And it's when we were at Mombasa that this issue of devil worshipping and homosexuality emerged.
Yes. Claims that the PCA leadership has denounced and in the process defrocked the former leader, terming these remarks as personal opinions that do not reflect the church's stand.
David Muhyagithi was never bold enough to formally let his views be discussed by others in the church. We would want to make it clear that there has never been any formal discussion generated by David Muhyagithi in any committee or court of the church on allegation of devil worship in PCA and the purported homosexuality and lesbianism.
However, Githi insists that the church is well aware of the cases in question and it only risks losing its influence as a center of worship.
Between the year 2003 and 2009, we deflocked 6 pastors, and they are all in records because it is the presbytery that deflocks somebody.
PCA has also barred Githi from holding any official post in the church and can only participate in church activities as a member. An offer Githi has snubbed, saying he too has officially resigned from being a member of the PCA church. Bridget Ngana, NTV.
And it's high time the Presbyterian Church of East Africa style of worship be elected on the African context of worship.
To a resounding applause, the then moderator of the PCA Church in Kenya, David Githii, mapped out his agenda of revamping the way Presbyterians worship, preferring dancing and clapping to the centuries-old tradition of standing and coordinated hymn singing. And like the biblical prophet, he too was never accepted in his own church, especially when he, together with a section of church elders, descended on 30 stained glass windows and metal grills said to be over 100 years old at the PCA St. Andrew's Church. Githii said those objects contained symbols associated with occult activities. Allegations of places harboring satanic icons did not just stop with the church, but also at parliament buildings. And here, the man of the cloth listed numerous statues dotting the august house as signs of paying homage to the gods of the underworld.
We just remove those things which are icons of the evil.
Githii was born 67 years ago in Kimanja village, Kajiado County. The father of 6 resigned from teaching in 1980 and joined St. Paul's United Theological College to pursue a course in theology in which he attained a doctorate degree. Even with his recent defrocking, Githii insists that his title can never be removed.
Ordination is not from a human aspect. Ordination is from the throne of God. And it's not anybody who called me to come and to join the ministry to be a pastor. It was God's call.
Githii has since written a book titled Exposing and Conquering Satanic Forces in Kenya and has a website documenting his allegations on the ongoings within the PCA Church. The same grounds behind me not only hosted the inauguration of David Githii as the moderator of the PCA Church back in 2003, but also experienced his wrath when he destroyed some of the church's items